Heat is one of the most underrated killers in the world. In 2022 alone, heat waves were responsible for tens of thousands of deaths in Europe and North America. And it's not just older people who are at risk. Even healthy young adults can die from heat stroke. Most of us try to stay cool by spending more time indoors, drinking lots of water, and maybe taking a cold shower or two. But that's not an option for everyone. For example, some people don't have air conditioning or even enough water to drink. And others might be working outdoors where it's hard to keep cool. What happens when it gets too hot? Well, your body tries to cool itself by sweating, which helps to lower your core temperature. But if you lose too much water through sweating and don't replace it, you become dehydrated. Dehydration makes it harder for your body to cool down, so your temperature starts to rise. This is dangerous because all the cells, tissues, and organs in your body need a very specific temperature range to work properly. If your temperature rises too much, it can cause all sorts of health problems. When your body overheats, your heart has to work harder to pump blood around your body. This puts extra strain on your cardiovascular system, which can be dangerous for people with heart or circulatory problems. Heat can also make it harder to breathe. When the air is hot, there's less oxygen in it, so if you're already struggling to breathe, this can be a real problem. Extreme heat can also trigger asthma attacks and other respiratory problems. And it's not just your body that suffers. When it gets too hot, your brain doesn't function as well either. You might find it harder to concentrate and make decisions, and you might feel more irritable and emotional. That's why it's important to take steps to protect yourself from the heat, especially during a heat wave. Heat waves are prolonged periods of excessively hot weather. They usually happen in the summer, but they can occur at any time of the year, even in places that are not normally hot. Heat waves can last for days, weeks, or even longer. During a heat wave, it's important to stay cool and hydrated. Drink plenty of water and avoid sugary drinks and alcohol. You should also try to keep your house cool. Close the curtains or blinds during the hottest part of the day and use fans or air conditioning if you have it. If you're going outside, wear light, loose clothing, and sunscreen, and take regular breaks in the shade. Unfortunately, heat waves are becoming more common and more intense due to climate change. The burning of fossil fuels is causing the planet's average temperature to rise, which means that heat waves are likely to become more frequent and severe in the future. In fact, a recent study found that human-caused climate change has already made heat waves 5 times more likely than they would be without global warming. And as temperatures continue to rise, the risk of death and injury from heat waves is likely to increase, especially in vulnerable populations such as the elderly and those with pre-existing health conditions. So, what can we do to protect ourselves from the dangers of heat waves? One way to mitigate the impact of heat waves is to plan ahead. During a heat wave, it is important to be aware of the signs of heat stroke and take steps to prevent it from happening. This includes drinking plenty of fluids, avoiding strenuous activity, and checking in on vulnerable family members and neighbors. We can also take steps to make our homes and communities more heat resistant. This can include planting trees to provide shade, creating cool roofs, and installing air conditioning in public buildings. By taking these steps, we can help to protect ourselves and our loved ones from the dangers of heat waves and make our communities more resilient to the impacts of climate change. Thanks for watching. See you next time.